In this video, we're going to be talking about the light reactions for photosynthesis. So let's remember that photosynthesis takes light energy from the sun and carbon dioxide from the air and water and uses the energy from the sun to turn that into a waste byproduct of oxygen gas as well as glucose. Alright, so this represents the inside of a thylakoid, and that is inside of a chloroplast, which is inside of every plant cell. And this happens mostly in the leaves, and we're going to talk about what the light reactions do. Now, the light reactions take the energy from the sun and convert that into ATP and NADPH, and they do that via a system of photosystems. Now, if you look here, this is the thylakoid membrane. The inside of the membrane is the thylakoid space, and the outside of the membrane out here would be the inside of the chloroplast. Alright, and so here's your membrane, double layer of phospholipids. And remember, they can move and spin around, and things that are small enough or that are water soluble can go through the membrane. Alright, so the first thing that happens, let's draw our photosystem. And our photosystem is two chlorophyll A molecules, and then a system of light harvesting complexes. You can kind of imagine that they're like mirrors. And then what else is in our system? We also have up at the top of our photosystem a PEA, or a primary electron acceptor. Alright, so what happens? Well, we get light energy from the sun. So light energy from the sun comes in and it hits the membrane. Well, what does it do? Well, when it hits one of these light harvesting complexes, it excites the electrons inside. And when you excite an electron, it jumps up to the next orbital, and then because that's unstable, it'll fall back down. When it falls back down, it gives off that energy. So this energy is going to bounce around on these light harvesting complexes until it hits a chlorophyll A molecule. When it hits the chlorophyll A molecule in the center, these chlorophyll A molecules are special in that the electron is going to completely leave the chlorophyll A molecule, and it's going to go up to the primary electron acceptor. Now, what does that do to our chlorophyll? Well, our chlorophyll is now missing an electron, and that's not stable either. So what's going to happen is, as soon as that electron leaves, a process is going to happen inside of the thylakoid space that is called photolysis. And what that means is to split by light. And so what's going to happen is water inside of this membrane is going to split into two molecules of hydrogen ions and a molecule of oxygen. And when that happens frequently enough, we'll end up with several molecules of oxygen. Now, oxygen is a waste product for the plant, so it's going to simply excrete that out to the environment. The hydrogen ions, however, are going to stay in this space, and we're going to see why in a minute. And then we also produce electrons. The electrons are going to return to replace the ones that chlorophyll A lost. Okay, so we left an electron hanging out up here on the PEA, the primary electron acceptor, and it needs to go somewhere. Well, the next place that it's going to go is down this staircase called an electron transfer chain. And this staircase is a series of enzymes that span the membrane. And what happens is, as our electron, let's pick a different color for him, as the electron bounces through this enzyme chain, it gives off energy, and it also brings in hydrogen ions through a reaction. So our hydrogen ions are going to come in. So we're going to end up building lots and lots of hydrogen ions inside this inner space. Something on the range of 10,000 to 1 from the inside to the outside of the membrane. Well, once that happens, our electron, for now, we're going to sort of leave him hanging out right there. There's a whole nother photosystem called photosystem 1 right next to photosystem 2, and it looks the same. It has the same setup. It has chlorophyll A molecules, it has light harvesting complexes, it has a primary electron acceptor. And the same thing's going to happen when sunlight comes in. It's going to come in and hit these little light harvesting complexes, hit the chlorophyll A. That's going to release our electrons up to the primary electron acceptor. Now, before we used photolysis to replace this one, and this is photosystem 2, this is photosystem 1. This chlorophyll A's electrons got replaced by photolysis. For photosystem 1, these lonely electrons that we sort of left hanging out on the stairwell, they're what's going to replace the electrons in photosystem 1's chlorophyll A's. So the original electrons shot up to the primary electron acceptor. There is another stairway or electron transfer chain, ETC, and the same thing is going to happen with these electrons, except when they bounce down, their energy is not going to go to bringing in hydrogen ions. It is going to go to making a molecule called NADPH. And what's going to happen is it's going to pass all of its energy over to what's called NADP reductase. And that is going to pass molecules and energy to that membrane, to that protein that spans the membrane, and that's going to make NADPH. Now, why did we concentrate all these hydrogen ions inside? Well, we have another transmembrane protein down here called ATP synthase, and this is going to make ATP. Well, we have tons of hydrogen ions on the inside, right? Lots of them everywhere. Not a whole lot on the outside. They can't actually get through the membrane on their own. So what's going to happen is this ATP synthase is going to give them a way to get out. So all of our hydrogen ions are going to flow through this molecule. When it does that, it's going to make ADP add a phosphate and become ATP. So in this system, we're going to make ATP and NADPH. In photosystem 2, we have photolysis happening, and we also have the production of ATP happening. We also have oxygen gas being released. In photosystem 1, same process of the electrons bouncing around, but here our electron transfer chain makes NADPH. And this is just a picture from a book so you can see what it looks like all pretty as opposed to my drawings. So same thing, you can see photosystem 2 here, photosystem 1 here. These are the electron transfer chains. Here is the molecule that makes NADPH. Here is ATP synthase, which makes ATP. And down here you can see photolysis happening in the inner space where it replaces the lost electrons and it gives off oxygen as waste, and it provides hydrogen ions to the inside. Here we can see where these electron transfer chains are bringing hydrogen ions in. And here again, photosystem 1, same thing happening, light energy being transferred down the chain, but going to make NADPH instead.